song in this match.
It's all about FEITAN, I feel like. You know, if we're talking about the Yu Zhong right now, the only real backline target that he can go for is FEITAN. And I don't blame him, right? Especially considering FEITAN's performance in the last series that they played. It's a good idea by them. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get straight into the Land of Dawn for match number 2, game number 1. Hikaru Esports up against Black Bulls. We're already seeing some signature picks from both of these sides, but who will win? You guys can comment down below right now. Tell us your predictions.
I'm really excited to see this Julian pick and see how he does against the especially after the nerfs. But I want to see how he does against the Xavier mage, who has a lot of disengages and can really just stop can stop a Karina, can stop a Marsha from trying to run down and burst in.
You know what? Speaking of Julian, I have a question for you, Combat. What do you think Julian's role actually is? Do you think he's an assassin or a mage? But wait a minute, there's going to be a fight here in the mid lane there as a topside river battle for the Litho Wanderer does not go further. It is actually just a flicker, a burnt there from Loaf. Buriza is actually the one who picks up that Litho Wanderer, and both teams just disengage. But yeah, back to the point. What do you think Julian is? Do you think Julian is an assassin? Or do you think Julian is a mage?
I've seen Julian work in the jungle.
Yeah.
Late game, he works. Early game, you don't really have much to do. So you're really relying on that early game damage that you can get from some of your mages or some of your off laners or your EXP laners. But late game, Julian is such a menace in the jungle, especially because you have that CC.
Yeah,
and we do see that turtle coming up, and Akai is trying to get a bit of distance away from that Karina because she is dangerous early game.
Very dangerous here in the early stage of the game, but it is going to be Hikaru Esports who actually have pressure onto this turtle. Loaf, though, looking for the opening right now, as that's going to be the follow-up from Bomii. Doesn't choose to go for the heavy spin just yet. Black Bulls have retrieved pressure here. samqt goes in with the Petrify and locks someone in place there. Buriza is actually the one who gets pinned down. I couldn't see, man. Akai was literally taking the entire screen, and Buriza was just there, below 2 tanky front lines, who was able to dive. And this is where we get to see Black Bulls' composition come through, right? We were asking, what is this dive for? Or maybe it's not just for FEITAN. Maybe it's also for the squishy Karina damage.
I'm 100%. I didn't actually think about that because we've been seeing a lot of Karina tanks, so you're not really diving her at the moment. But I think we see a fight going on here. Can they get the kill?
Oh, it seems like they can't here. Black Bulls were able to actually just disengage there, but they were forced to burn out a few resources. The sprint for Paul is a huge resource, but again, there's not really that many objectives right now. Neutral objective was secured earlier by the Black Bulls, so they don't really need to go for anything right now. That resource will be pretty well spent considering that there's nothing to fight for in the next few minutes. But again, like you mentioned, right? It's just going to be very interesting to see because this is the dynamic that we have now. Usually when we talk about Karina, you just don't want to put resources on her because she's built as a tank. Now, as a squishy member, as a person who builds mostly just glass cannon, it's going to be really tough, but they're actually looking for a play down below. That's actually Bomii who jumps in there with the heavy spin, able to pin them down as Loaf jumps in with the follow-up, with the wild charge. FEITAN caught low. Paul, though, doesn't have the sprint, will fall to the hands of Nami Kaze, who takes that kill 1-1. They're both equal on the board.
A little bit too deep there by the Xavier, by Paul. You weren't really doing much damage with your CC, but again, good pick up by Hikaru.
And when we're talking about FEITAN, right? Sure, he was the highlight, kind of, in the first match. Obviously, he did get the Maniac in the first game. He got the Savage in the second, but in the early stage, he's actually quite unnoticeable, right? He's a silent killer. The guy doesn't really show up until he gets that power spike, but in the topside river, once again, there's a fight here as Black Bulls have pressure. Bomii jumping in onto GOME, who is the frontliner. They do not want to put resources onto him right now, as samqt looking for flanks, goes in for the Black Dragon form. Bomii with a heavy spin is able to get out, but he's very low. Loaf gets out with 1 HP. That's going to be the damage from Namikaze as he flickers forward to pick up the kill. samqt in a 1v4 situation is able to sustain a little bit more, but FEITAN guns him down, takes him out, and Black Bulls are the ones to be forced out of this turtle fight. Hikaru Esports, they pick up on this turtle, they take it away, and it's 3-2 on the board.
It was a good fight by Hikaru. They got the turtle, but Carry was able to shred down all of that gold plating. So if we take a look at the items, Carry's already got the Wind Talker. She does have... What did she build?
Wait a minute, though, Namikaze, he's actually going to get caught there. Yeah, Kaelqt, you mentioned this, Wind Talker already built. With that kill, he's going to have more items here soon. He's already pathing towards an item. Is that maybe? Oh, wow. Yeah, TCC just got ping-ponged there by Bomii and the wall by Loaf. But Black Bulls, they're finding picks on the board. It's still very equal.
Very equal at the moment. And it's just that Kael is really focusing on trying to get that farm. Now taking the mid lane minions. So again, Kael is one of their win conditions. And if they can get Kael fed, keep them protected, you know, it's really, Carry's going to shred that Marsha, that Lolita easily late game. We do see an engage happening.
Yeah, once again, Namikaze caught here in the midst of it all. The heavy spin pins him down. Namikaze taken out. Dawning Light to finish him off. But the Numenor Blast lands onto 3. And the combo wombo comes in. Loaf taken low. Still able to jump away. But samqt with the re-engage onto FEITAN. Finds the Petrify with a furious dive. TCC going to be the target right now. It's Kaelqt. Tries to look for that follow-up. Finds the double kill. And will be able to win out in this trade. It's a 3-for-1.
Bomii did get that purple buff there off Karina, so awesome retry by Bomii. Retry gods there.
Retry gods, and let's take a look at the replay here too, right? Because again, it feels like both of these teams, they're so equally matched when it comes to these team fights. Because initially, I thought it was Hikaru who's going to take it. Then, Black Bulls, they came back. Suddenly, we see the Numenor Blast. So it's always back and forth in these team fights.
It was a big play by samqt there, picking out FEITAN and being able to hit that Petrify and stop him. So if he wasn't able to take out FEITAN, I think, you know, that could have gone into the side of Hikaru there.
It definitely could have, especially with the Numenor Blast onto 3, right? The fact that Sam was always just there in the sitting in that bush, zoning FEITAN away, and finally getting that furious dive onto him. This is where we can actually see that FEITAN, yeah, he's not the unstoppable force that we saw back in day 1 of the knockout stage, right? So it's already very different. Very competitive here in day number 5. We've seen these teams grow as well after their losses, after their games, and this is where it gets really interesting.
I think that's where it comes, like, the notoriety that FEITAN has, you know, made for himself already in this tournament has, you know, allowed Black Bulls to pay a little bit more attention to him. You know, maybe that samqt pick was exactly just to stop FEITAN and his late game damage. Allow Carry to get a step ahead. And we do see that tower going down here.
Yeah, they're picking up the turret so easily here. Just from the fact that they have so much kill pressure, so much dive, and so much pick potential on this map currently. The map's basically dark for Hikaru. They finally get a turret down below, able to trade it out. FEITAN's the one to pick up the gold as well. But look at how Black Bulls are playing. They're literally they're dictating this match by just opening up the map, right? Look at this. TCC, he can't even go in his own jungle, and he's the roamer. Bomii actually goes in under the turret, looking for the heavy spin, forcing TCC to flicker out. Without that, no more Numenor Blasts to can surprise them anymore. This is where Black Bulls should look for a team fight, and that's exactly what they try to do here. That's going to be the Furious Dive and the Petrify onto 2. samqt is massive in this game. Namikaze gets taken low. The Dawning Light almost takes him down. And but look at samqt again, just such a menace into that back line. The Numina Blast was ready to go, but it was cancelled there by samqt just popping the Black Dragon form. And once again, he's able to zone these members away from the turret, enabling the other members to pick up the turret. TCCC fallen back. They can't really look for more. And Black Bulls look at this conversion instantly onto the Lord.
Instantly, and the way that this Yusong's playing, this is exactly how you should play Yusong. You hit your passive, you become so hard to kill. With all that lifesteal that you're taking from that team fight, it's really hard to counter there in a team fight with the Petrify, with the disengages that he has. So samqt is really on point here in this match.
He's been very on point, but he hasn't actually taken any of the kills. So that's even more impressive, I feel like, right? As a Yuzong, I usually just try to take as many kills as possible. I feel like I'm the main character, but he's playing it in a way where he's just trying to funnel gold onto Paul, onto Kaelqt, and the entire team is doing this really well, right? Bomii's not taking any of the kills. Loaf isn't taking any of the kills, even though Bomii, he's a jungler. The thing is, they're just trying to funnel again onto the members who can actually carry them in that later stage, get them to those power spikes even faster.
And for the win condition for the side of Hikaru, as the tower is being taken now, they lose their second tier tower. But the win condition, I would say, for Hikaru is they've kind of lost their early game win condition. FEITAN doesn't really have that much farm at the moment, so I would say their win condition is that Julian really getting a good pick.
Oh, once again, though, TCC is forced to flicker out. The wall was perfectly placed, and that's the fall-off. TCC gonna get pinned down there, but the Numina Black connects on the 3 members. This might be the comeback they need, but Black Bulls, they still have samqt with the Black Dragon form, looking for more. FEITAN going to be targeted, but the Black Dragon form wasn't really used to go for the engage. It was used to create space for Black Bulls, the other members, to fall back. They lose one, and they're so disciplined. They instantly know when to fall back. They do not overcommit. Even here in the purple buff, they don't go for it. They just back up. They just put some pressure on it. Let's take a look at the gold graph.
Wow, what a Black Bulls are just starting to snowball and just keep they're taking their objectives, making sure that they get the farm. Even though they're only 2 kills up.
Yeah, and take a look at this replay. It's
such a good Numina Blast.
Yeah, it's back and forth, right? It's every single team fight. Back and forth, back and forth. I thought for a second that Sam was just gonna go for a crazy play here, but yeah, it's interesting to see that both of these teams are just so disciplined, right? We've seen so much action in that first match. I thought, maybe we're gonna see even more action here.
I just NA is really catching up to the macro plays win the game. It's not about kills anymore. You can have more kills than the other team. Black Bulls do have the more kills here, but it's about the macro. If you can make the other team, have to defend their lanes, you have more of a chance of getting the Lord, getting the turtles, taking the towers. And you do see Black Bulls here, without a contest, taking the buffed up Lord here.
Perfect setup and perfect execution from the Black Bulls. Like you can see, right? The fact that they were able to push out all the waves at the same time, creating this forced error for Hikaru Esports. They weren't able to do anything. If they went for the clear onto the minions, that's a free Lord. If they went to the Lord, well, they're going to have their base torn apart by minions. So now, with a 5,000 gold lead, you can already see the items start piling up, especially look at Kaelqt. He's already at full items.
Kaelqt is a problem in this match, and like I said at the start of the match, he's basically their win condition here in the late game, because that Akai is not, since the update, Akai is not much of a damage dealer. He's more of a let me go in, get the objectives, disrupt the enemy sort of jungler at the moment.
Well, there you go. samqt once again with the Black Dragon form, able to zone 3 members away. The Mystic Field and the Wild Charge just gets 2, and it's FEITAN and Namikaze. Bomii with the heavy spin again onto 2. It is a disaster for Hikaru Esports. Black Bulls end the game with that amazing engage. 1-0 leading the series.
Yusong is my MVP. Even though Yusong
Yeah.
didn't get no kills, the engages allowing his team to go in and really take them apart. Such a good game there by samqt.
A massive game from samqt, right? And I have to agree with you. Sure, yeah, there were a lot of plays, a lot of damage from Paul, from Kael, but Sam, he really just enabled these things to happen. And Bomii as well. Just the frontliners in general, I feel like, right? You can take a look, though, at the statistics, at the team fight participation. Kaelqt, he's been munching on those turrets when compared to Paul, who's just, you know, he's there. He uses the dawning light just to create space and obviously to help out, put some global pressure on the map. 80% team fight participation.
I think that